Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 29th, and I'm doing an educational video right now on what occurred the other day with the Gustnado formations. About 10 of them moving down the Puget Sound with our powerful Puget Sound convergence zone. I kind of just drew this diagram by hand. I kind of made it a supercell. Wasn't really a supercell out there, but this would be the cumulonimbus here. You can see the downdraft here. Here's the cold outflow. You can see the updraft of the storm. There's a storm motion. So it'd be moving from north to south. We'd be looking from west to east. We'd be looking at the Cascades. And you can see this would be where the Gustnado formation zone would be. It was dealing with some weaker southerlies here and kind of southwesterly wind a little bit there. And it ran into this cold outflow here. And with that little bit of lift there, we got these little spin ups here and kind of an actual eddy on the actual outflow boundary called the gust front here. So it was moving down the Puget Sound and these eddies were forming. We're going to look at that on some of the video here in a moment. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at where these were forming here, and you can see how this northerly winds were coming down the side, and you can actually see this in the video, how they were turning a little bit off to the south and east, and then you'd get these gustnadoes on the gust front as this crept down the Puget Sound, and a boat went by, and a couple of them were rather vigorous looking here, and they were bigger than the boat, so I imagine they were probably about 30 feet wide, some of them anyway. But yeah, there's Burien at 3 tree point here, and what is a gustnado basically? So it's a small whirlwind which forms as an eddy in thunderstorm outflows, like I mentioned. So they do not connect with any cloud-based rotation. They are not tornadoes. And their origin is associated with cumuliform clouds. Gustnadoes are classified as a thunderstorm wind event. Like dust devils, some stronger gustnadoes can cause damage if they hit the right thing. And so basically, this does happen in the plains. I've seen these numerous times out in Tornado Alley when I've been out storm chasing. It's usually part of a dusty thunderstorm outflow boundary. But again, this is the first time I've seen it over water, and definitely the first time I've seen it over the Puget Sound. So not always associated with the dusty thunderstorm outflow boundaries, and they can interact with updrafts under the right circumstances and actually help tornado genesis here, but usually not the case. And again, they develop on gust fronts there, and they're usually quicker moving boundaries that are more curved or sloped vertically. This means that the circulation is not going to get up into the cloud there. So it's just kind of a shallow circulation there. Again, like an eddy on the outflow boundary of a thunderstorm. So here we're looking at the Puget Sound itself. I want to do a wide angle view of things first. You can see the Puget Sound convergence zone with sunny skies to the south and the storm is off to the north. So you know the storm is going to be moving from right to left here. You can see all the snow pellets associated. You can see the cat's paws moving across the Puget Sound as the strong northerlies make their way down. And right here is where the gustnadoes initially formed. And if I put this into motion, you'll see that boat moving down the sound there as well. You can see the semblance of a shelf cloud there with the convergence zone activity. And as we continue to trek out here, I want you to watch this, that outflow boundary. That's known as the gust front there. And that's where these eddies form here, known as those gustnadoes. I counted 10 of those little buggers. And it was very interesting watching that move down across the Puget Sound here. Now we're going to look at a more zoomed in view here with this next frame. And you can see that. And we just let this play. And you can see this is actual real time here. 1, 2, 3 of them here. And look at these Fujiwara effect as these spun around each other and actually merged together. And you can see a fourth one trying to develop here. A lot of vorticity along that gust front as these northerly winds blasted down the Puget Sound, kind of meeting up with these southerly winds as well. So pretty interesting stuff. And I'll put this into motion a little bit. We'll speed up here and you can kind of see the snow pellets moving in behind as well. And as that boat comes down, that one had its eyes on it. Look at that kind of vigorous gustnado here. That's not too small of a boat. So, I mean, what is that, 2-3 times the size of the boat there? So kind of interesting looking at that. And then as we put this into motion a little bit more, it weakened a bit, but as soon as the boat went by, it kind of redeveloped right in its wake here. Interesting looking at it there. And then another one tried to develop up here ahead of the boat also. So you can see these were forming along that gust front as this came down the Puget Sound. So put that into motion. You can see that next one trying to develop right here. You can kind of see the eddy, the north wind there kind of turning back to southerly here and spinning up there as it meeting some of these southerlies as the Puget Sound convergence zone marched down the Puget Sound. Now we zoom out here and again, you can see the outflow boundary kind of moving towards the coastline, and this circulation made it all the way up to the coastline there as well. So I also wonder if anybody living down across some of Normandy Park in Burien or, down to Normandy Park to the south there as well, saw some of these gustnadoes out there. But you can see a lot of snow pellet showers as well. And this brought a big gust at my house. I'm up on the hill here in Normandy Park, and it brought 36 miles per hour and actually did some tree damage out there. We saw branches flying and whatnot also. So anyway, let's put that ahead here. And then you can kind of see the circulations there again on the leading edge of that gust front. There's one right there. There's one there. And there was one that moved move towards the land over there with that initial Gustnado development. So now we take a look here, and we're going to bounce back out again. You can see the boat now moving to the south, and watch this area right here. That's where this next Gustnado developed. Almost like it was chasing that boat down the Puget Sound there, but you can see it developing there and moving south, and that was a pretty vigorous one as well, and it kind of caught the light nicely, so it showed itself pretty well there. And now we're going to zoom in on that a little bit here in a moment, and keep scrolling forward there. And here we go. We're starting to zoom in. You can see the boat making its way south, and you can kind of see again the circulation there on the water where this thing developed, this little eddy. Watch it pop up here. Just going to let it play through here. This is actual real time, and you can see the winds had not picked up also. Again, the gust front was still out over the Puget Sound at this time, and there we go. You can see it almost like a little mini tornado out there spinning. So I kind of wonder if any of the homeowners saw that thing moving out there. This is real time. This is not sped up. It was a pretty vigorous gustnado there out over the Puget Sound. So I've got something new to chase here across the Pacific Northwest as well. So anytime a Puget Sound convergence zone comes down with a pretty good north flow, I'm going to be out there trying to see if I can spot any of these little bad boys moving across the region here. So anyway, hope you guys found that educational. I'll do my normal briefing tomorrow. Actually snowing a little bit at my house here tonight as well. There's actually a little slushy accumulation on the deck, dropped down to about 34 degrees. The dew point plummeted pretty good today too. So there is going to be some of that third of lowland snow here for the next few days also. We'll go dive into all those details as we go through the video tomorrow. So hopefully you guys like this video, and I'll put the Puget Sound convergent zone. I'll do the video in the bottom left here in the last 20 seconds. It should show up. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning, and I'll see you then.